everybody? It's Hippodippin here, and today I'm doing some OU battles, and let me tell you guys, it has been a really sucky weekend. Yeah, it's been really bad, but and that's because I've been practicing freaking 4 or 5 battles, and I've lost every single one, and I'm not sure why. Usually I do pretty good, but then I started sucking. So, but this one was pretty close, and it was a good battle, so I did want to go ahead and show it. And yeah, I used a really old team back when I used to use Skarmory, and yeah, so let's go ahead and watch the replay. It was a pretty good battle. So I lead off with Ranger. He goes into Turbo Dust 3000, and I predict the... Well, actually, no, that comes later, never mind. But in comes the Talonflame, and I was really, really close to going for a Thunder Punch. I really was. That would have been great. Anyway, I go in here with Unknown, and then we just do some Hexes and some Roosts, and really, nothing is accomplished at all. So, this is his 3rd time going for Roost, and I go for Hex one more time, because usually the 3rd time is when people usually mess up, or change their strategy, right? So, on the 4th time, I do it again, and then on the 5th time, I go into Crunch the Crocodile, land a Stone Edge, and that gets rid of... Excuse me, and that gets rid of the Talonflame. So, he could have gone for a Brave Bird there, that probably would have been the better move. So, whatever, man, I'm not gonna... I don't know. Anyway, so I go into Unknown here, and he brings in the Breloom, and let me tell you, that Breloom messes me up later, so that is an issue. Anyway, in comes the... what's this thing called? Chansey? Yeah, Chansey. In comes the Chansey, and this thing proceeds to stall me out quite nicely. I go into King here, and I go for Bullet Punch, and that does not do too much at all. He goes for Thunder Wave and paralyzes me, so that is an issue. I then go back out into Ranger. He goes for a Seismic Toss. That brings me down somewhat, and that is not a good thing. Now, in comes the Gardevoir, and I predicted that pretty nicely, went for a Poison Jab, and then I switch into King on the incoming Hyper Voice, and yeah, so it's coming along pretty nicely. The Turbo Dust 3000 is quite the switcheroo, I suppose. Anyway, in comes the Gardevoir, goes for a Focus Blast. That's actually a pretty good move on his part. Knocks out my Skarmory, or no, not Skarmory, what the hell is that thing called? Scizor. Anyway, so a few turns later I switch into Crunch the Crocodile, get the defense drop, and there it switches out, and in comes the Excadrill. I go for a Crunch, it does almost 50, and I was so upset about that, man. It would have been so great if it did 50. Anyway, I switch into Skarmory, we exchange rocks, and then I forgot that this thing has Rapid Spin, so that was kind of a wasted effort. And here I forgot what happens. He switches out, and I go for Brave Bird, and the Rotom takes that pretty nicely. So that's pretty cool. In comes Ranger, my Scrafty. He tries to go for a Volt Switch again. In comes the Excadrill, goes for an Earthquake, knocks out my Ranger. I bring in Known the Unknown, or Known the the Alakazam. And let me tell you, man, I forgot how good Alakazam was. He is so amazing. It's incredible. Anyway, so this guy spores my Skarmory, and that sucks. And, yeah, so he misses the Hydro Pump, and I keep trying to wake up here, and that is not happening. So, I really wanted to get some rocks up again, but that was not on Skarmory's mind, apparently. So I bring in Known, brings in Gorda, and the Chansey. I try going for Psyshock, and it lives, breaks my Focus Sash. Let me tell you something, if that had one hit, or if that had killed, totally different battle. Totally different battle. Anyway, so, yeah, in comes the Breloom, lives with the Focus Sash, goes for Spore, and I was like, well, that sucks. So, he goes for Sword Stance here, and really, after he put my Known to sleep, he had won the game. Because, let me explain to you, if I had switched out, he still would have gotten the sword stance up and still would have been able to kill me. And that is not good. So, the only thing I could have done to... No, I could not have won that game. Now that I think about it. The only way I could have won is if this Breloom hadn't had sword stance. I would have been able to live one Mach Punch, and then kill it with an Earthquake, get the Moxie boost, and then kill the Gardevoir. That's the only way I could have won. But that's not how it ended out. But now our record is severely low. It is at 1364, and that is after 4 or 5 battles of continual losing. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to make some changes. I don't know, man. That new team I made with Solipede, it just is not, it's not working out. It really isn't. I cannot handle Ferrothorn with that team. That Ferrothorn just stalls my entire team, especially with a Leech Seed Protect set. And let me tell you something, if you're running Ferrothorn with a Leech Seed / Protect, what is wrong with you? Do you not have enough strategy behind your game to go ahead and play like an actual player instead of just stalling people out? Really? But yeah, I am not going to be using that team anymore, just because after about 3 or 4 loses with that team, I decided to switch to this team, and I actually had a pretty close game. So that's the difference, and yeah, I just can't handle Ferrothorn with the Solipede team. I like Solipede. I might make another team with Solipede, but I just cannot. I cannot do a team like that, really. And I even tried switching out Porygon 2 with Crobat, because I found that hazards were another issue. And yeah, I used Crobat to defog, Toxic, you know, Roost, all that stuff, and I still lost. So I don't... what a crappy weekend, man. Anyway, I'm Hippadippin'. I hope you're enjoying Labor Day weekend more than I am, and I will see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.